A modern digital medical tool looks effortless on the surface. Real-time patient vitals sync smoothly to a clinical dashboard, making care feel instant and connected. But beneath that clean interface lies a strict regulatory environment. Standard consumer software can move fast, test in production, and patch bugs later. Healthcare applications operate under federal laws that prioritize data security over rapid iteration. Mishandling protected health information, or PHI, carries severe financial penalties. A single category of data violation under HIPAA can trigger fines reaching $1.9 million annually. Beyond the legal constraints, you have to navigate complex technical plumbing. To be useful, your software must securely connect with existing, deeply entrenched electronic health record systems. This chart compares the timeline and financial requirements of a standard consumer app versus a regulated healthcare application. You can see the massive gap. That spike comes from the specialized work to handle medical data safely, mandatory audits, complex encryption protocols, and extensive compliance documentation. Building a product in this sector requires a shift in perspective. You are managing legal and financial liability first, and writing code second. Because requirements are strict, you will see extreme variance when gathering market quotes for development. Bids can range from $30 an hour to $500,000 per project. On the low end of the market, you will find generalist coders focused on rapid prototyping and basic feature delivery. On the high end of the market, you will find dedicated teams specializing entirely in enterprise-grade compliance and secure medical system architecture. This creates a difficult choice for decision-makers. You have to balance preserving your initial launch budget against the absolute necessity of protecting patient data. To solve this, you generally have three primary hiring structures to choose from: independent freelancers, permanent in-house hires, and specialized development agencies. Selecting a hiring model that fails to match the regulatory scope of your project generates catastrophic legal liabilities before your product ever reaches the market. This matrix evaluates hiring options, mapping organizational oversight against compliance knowledge and cost. We plot freelance and offshore models in the top left sector: high control but low built-in domain expertise. The benefit? You keep financial burn low and start writing code within days. However, this places a massive project management burden entirely on you. The founder or product owner must act as the primary systems architect, ensuring every line of code meets compliance standards. Generalist freelancers also widely lack native knowledge of standard healthcare data exchange protocols, specifically HL7 FHIR. Attempting clinical integrations without HL7 FHIR proficiency results in a product that simply cannot communicate with modern hospital infrastructure. The freelance route keeps your upfront costs low, but it transfers the entire burden of compliance and integration risk directly onto your organization. Looking back at our matrix, the in-house recruitment model sits in the top right quadrant: maximum control, high expertise, and high cost. Hiring a senior North American healthcare developer requires an annual salary between $120,000 and $180,000, plus heavy operational overhead. The long-term strategic benefit here is absolute ownership. Your growing company retains total control over the intellectual property and the product roadmap. Internal hires also develop deep, product-specific institutional knowledge over a multi-year time horizon, making future updates highly efficient. The drawback is severe talent scarcity. Developers possessing both full-stack coding abilities and deep regulatory expertise are incredibly rare. Finding, vetting, and onboarding these specific developers routinely takes months, causing significant delays to your product launch schedule. The in-house model guarantees you maximum operational control, but scaling organizations often sacrifice vital speed to market while trying to fill the seats. Finally, this completed matrix shows the specialized agency model sitting in the high expertise, moderate control sector. Engaging an end-to-end specialized product team requires an elevated financial entry point compared to freelancers. GrowRankers serves as an example of how this turnkey deployment model functions in practice. The immediate operational benefit is that a specialized team arrives ready to build. They operate strictly within a HIPAA-first architectural design methodology from day one, requiring zero regulatory onboarding. Under federal law, granting any external vendor access to patient data requires a mandatory legal framework called a Business Associate Agreement, or BAA. Specialized agencies like GrowRankers natively execute BAAs as a standard practice, absorbing shared regulatory liability for the product's security. The primary trade-off is operational distance. You step back from the day-to-day oversight of individual coders, relying instead on the agency's internal project management. The premium price of a specialized agency functions directly as an investment. You are purchasing liability mitigation and accelerated regulatory approval. This branching decision flowchart maps out exactly how to match your business profile with the appropriate developer model. If you are an early-stage startup building a simple, minimum viable product with a highly constrained budget, the freelance model can work. This is especially true for wellness or fitness applications that deliberately avoid handling protected health information. Removing patient data from the equation removes the barrier for generalist freelancers. If you are an established enterprise organization, prioritizing intellectual property over rapid deployment, the in-house model is your target. This model requires heavy venture funding and a multi-year time horizon to absorb the costs and delays of specialized recruitment. If you need a fully compliant product built quickly and securely, but lack internal regulatory architects, you require a specialized agency like GrowRankers. This model is an absolute necessity when you are executing complex clinical system integrations and operating under strict federal compliance mandates. Matching your development model to your project's specific regulatory risk doesn't guarantee a successful launch, but it does prevent compliance and integration gaps from ending the project before it starts.